Government is not reason. Government is not eloquence. Government is force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Thank you everyone for tuning in. My name is Daniel Hapney. This is the real story. I'm here because I believe in defending freedom. I don't just wear the shirt. I live the life I believe that liberty is important and that individual liberty is the most important thing. When they try to sell you collectivism, where you're just a little piece of the big state and the state's more important than you, then they forgot how and why this country was founded and the great founding fathers we had who realized that only with individual liberty, okay, could we prosper. And as that liberty's been eroding away, what has happened? Are we not as prosperous as we used to be? They give us many false reasons because they're good at lying to us. That's what the media does best. You know? When I say you know, maybe you don't know. Maybe after watching the show, you'll ask questions. Maybe you'll do homework. Maybe you'll defend freedom. Maybe you'll make sure that your grandchildren have freedom and liberty. And maybe not. Maybe you'll just be slaves like Hitler wanted, you know? Remember Hitler and Stalin and Mao, and let's not leave out Pol Pot, Idi Amin. This has all happened before. So here we have today. I want to start off with, this is a little piece that came off of Fox, remember, because they're not biased, okay? But here we have mind control at its best. We have Geraldo Rivera interviewing Marines who guard poppy fields. Now, for you sports nuts fans, let's not forget Pat Tillman, for he had a football, and he got paid $4 million to play football, but he gave it up because of the false flag conspiracy lie the government told us about 9/11. He was going to go fight the Taliban, but he wrote letters home to his mother, "Mommy, I'm guarding poppy fields." How does the CIA fund their black ops? How much is the opium trade worth? Let me ask another question. How is it that the British took over China and stuff and ran China? Gee, did it have anything to do with opium? So, look at what your United States military is doing in Afghanistan now. Oh, and by the way, the gas pipeline's going in. And yes, the head negotiator for, what was it, Unico or whatever? Yeah, Conoco, that was Hamid Karzai, the now president of Afghanistan. What's his brother doing? Here's homework. Type in Karzai's brother, Afghanistan, you know, prime minister or president or whatever. What's his brother? Isn't he the biggest drug lord in Afghanistan? So is your military being used now to make sure that there is cultivation of poppies? And what do you need to make heroin? Don't believe me. This is Fox giving you a little bit of truth. Watch the spin, though.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Dave Briggs, he's Clayton Morris, she's Allison Camerata. We're going to head to Afghanistan this morning. One of the biggest obstacles in front of the U.S. troops there in Afghanistan is the opium trade. The Taliban is using it to intimidate the population.
Yeah. Joining us from Helmand Province is Geraldo Rivera. Good morning to you, Geraldo. Tell us what you've seen during your days there in Afghanistan.
Hi, Allison, Dave, and Clayton. Yes, in some ways, the Marines' brilliantly executed invasion of Marja, this town in the middle of Helmand Province, was the easy part. The hard part now is governing this province, a province, as you suggest, that has become addicted to opium in many, many ways. That is the principal crop that is being grown here. The Taliban lend the farmers the money. They are indebted to the Taliban. They have to grow the opium. Now the Marines, in their success, are in a sense a victim of their success, because now the population is, you know, they have these opium fields, and we are tolerating it. We are tolerating the cultivation of the opium because we know that if we were to destroy it now, the population would turn against the Marines, and it would be a real security risk. Let me introduce Lieutenant Colonel Brian Christmas. He's the commanding officer of the 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines. Really a wonderful group of Marines here. I know that you care deeply about this this contradiction, the fact that here you have one of the best fighting forces in the world ever mounted, and in a sense you're watching as this opium is being grown. I know it grinds at your gut. How do you deal with it? What are you doing about it?
Well, frankly, this is a part of their culture. So while it might grind in my gut, it's what they do. We provide them security, we're providing them resources, and we're providing them alternatives. And the alternatives are different crops to grow. They're getting the seed and the fertilizer to do it. They can rotate any of their crops that they want. If they want to get rid of their wheat and grow cotton for the winter, they can do that, and we're going to help them do it. So the same thing goes for the poppy.
So you think that, you know, we were at the market, and everywhere we go, they're selling these little devices. Take a shot at this, Greg. They're hand-carved. These are the little devices they use to scrape the opium sap off the plant. And I watched as you bought every one that was for sale because you care so deeply. Why did you do that?
I want them off the street. The idea is that we don't want to harvest the poppy. We want to, you know, hopefully turn the poppy over and put some wheat, cotton, watermelon, cucumber. That's all great stuff they grow out here. We just want to see that come to fruition and the poppy just to go away.
How do you separate the good guys from the bad guys? You know, I watched that checkpoint you had. The cars are out on the road. That's the good news. The bazaars are coming back to life. That's the good news. But I don't know, how in the world do you tell a Taliban from a guy who just lives in the neighborhood?
You don't. They do. And I'll tell you, the majority of those people are good people. The ones that are bad are really bad, and they've convinced some of the good people to be bad. You can follow that. Bottom line is most of them are on the fence, and it's just a matter of showing them the good, showing them the fact that the Giro government is here. It's going to make a difference, that we're here to help them with that security and those resources, but they're the ones that are going to make the difference. There are a few bad people, the majority of them are good.
But I really, I fault the politicians for putting the Marines in this position, you know, where we can't eradicate these crops for security reasons, and these guys, after winning the war, in a sense, now have to fight this fight. But next year, hopefully it'll be better. I just want to quickly pan around, see some of the 3rd Battalion 6th Marines. There's the Master Gunnery Sergeant. There's the top-ranked enlisted man. Next to him is Captain Black. He had a visit. Quick, who visited you a couple of weeks ago?
Prince Charles came down a couple of weeks ago.
And the Brits like him? I mean, do you guys like him?
Yeah, it's good that he came out, saw the guys, went out to the pubs and engaged with the guys. That was good. Good morale.
So we had a visit from Prince Charles, and the Marines are doing the good thing. Dave, Clayton, and Allison, back to you guys in New York.
Thank you so much,
Geraldo. Thanks so much. I mean, he just explains it better than we can ever read in any paper, what a dilemma it is with the opium trade.
And they make so much money off the opium per yard there. They make so much money compared to those other crops. So it sounds great in theory, and Geraldo says this predicament that these politicians have put these guys in to have to tell them, hey, make a lot less money than the heroin you could be making with the poppy.
And they can't destroy it.
Right.
What a difficult position.
All right, in the meantime, I do have your headlines for you.
Can you see it? Can you feel the spin? Yeah, but we've got to keep the opium growing or else bad things will happen. Oh, and I took away all the little scrapers. Right. So if your children get caught with opium, like people in Brockton do, a town not far from Sharon, what happens to them? Is there really a war on drugs when your military guards the poppy fields? What happened to Pat Tillman? Will you do the homework? Will you stand up and defend freedom? Or will you help enslave people? Will you allow your government to move the drugs into the country? Should I mention the Cocaine Importation Agency? Gee, it's awful funny how the CIA flows, you know? You got Bill Clinton, he's governor of Arkansas. And what's happening in Mena, Arkansas? A little bit of homework. Mena, Arkansas. Gee, they're moving cocaine into the country. And the CIA's getting caught. And FBI agents are getting shot. Yeah, why don't you do some history? And who was running the government back then? Oh, that was George. I'm running the CIA Bush. Then his son. Now you got Obama, right? When I say Obama, Barry Soetoro. But doesn't this repetition, is this what you want? This is the government that you want. This is the type of, this is what you want for your grandchildren? Do you understand? They're just lying to you constantly. Are you ready to stop this lying? So,